Hello and welcome to the Tactical Podcast episode 5. It's with myself, Zach, and with, how do you want to refer yourself? Are we doing
Me.
a government name?
Yeah,
Nickname?
man, just name on the page. Honor.
Because I was called Zachariah, so I don't know if we're going on a governmental basis here. But yeah, anyways, today we have a bonus episode for you guys where we will be drafting our special 11 between Morocco and Algeria, the Maghreb, against Turkey, and we'll see which players get in, and definitely get the conversation going. See which players get in, and who's missing out, and why they're missing out, and who should be added, etc. See how it goes. We've got a lot to go through. So without further ado, I will pass you over to Honor to tell you the rules.
So pretty excited for this one. I definitely think there's gonna be some fireworks and controversy here because I think definitely we have some favorites and different opinions on some things. But I'll go through the rules really quick. So we're not really going to include too many before the year 2000. Obviously, it doesn't mean there weren't great players. Of course there were, but it's difficult to judge. I think we've decided to go with players that we've watched mainly, or we've not watched per se in massive detail, but I've experienced their careers, I've lived through their careers, and were there at the time. So we're not really going to go through too much before the 2000s. And it's also players that played for the national team of Turkey, Algeria, or Morocco, not from ethnic origin. So that's what we sort of based it on.
So no Zidane, unfortunately.
Yeah, no Zidane, no Benzema, no Ozil featuring in Bennacer, none of them featuring in this one. So
and no Ozil as well.
So maybe that's one for a different day. So but this time we picked this one. So we're gonna go position by position. We're gonna sort of talk about if there's any competition in any position or things like that. And yeah, let's see what we come up with at the end. What we'll do is we'll post it on Twitter, and see what you guys think about the 11 we come up with. Any positions that we can't agree on, we'll leave it to you guys to vote and sort of fill in that gap for us. Obviously, because there's only two of us, so we can't come to a majority decision. So yeah, I think let's get the ball rolling, Zach.
Let's start off with the goalkeeper. Who do you have in goal?
So looking through, I have Bono in goal. He's two times Europa League champion, absolutely brilliant at the recent World Cup for Morocco. Brilliant at penalties. I think special shout out to Volkan Demirel, Rushdie as well. But I think it's going to have to be Bono for me. I'll go with Bono in goal. I think you can expand on him a little bit more than me.
Yeah, Bono definitely. Bono gets the nod for me. I mean, what can I say about the goalkeeper? He's had a real career. He started off in Morocco, went to Atletico, won the Liga for Atletico without even kicking a ball, which is interesting. He then had some ups and downs, got released had a couple of loan spells from in Girona and other clubs, Valladolid, I believe, as well. Up and down. And then, he kind of had a renaissance at Sevilla where he won the Europa League. He had the record number of clean sheets in Europe's top 5 leagues with 32, 59 games. Obviously went to Morocco and took them to the semi-final. Got to the semi-finals with saving 2 penalties against Spain to take Morocco to the quarterfinals, and then obviously the heroics continued after that. 3 clean sheets as well, which was the first African goalkeeper to do that. So I mean, he's a phenomenal goalkeeper, probably top 5 in my opinion in the world, and maybe top 5 African goalkeepers of all time. I think he's incredible, and recently won the Europa League again for Sevilla, saving 2 penalties as well. So the man has done it all, to be fair.
Yeah.
So that's why Bono gets the nod for me. And it's funny because there's actually a story about my relationship with Bono from afar. Is that one of Egypt's greatest ever players, Mohamed Aboutrika, he said during the AFCON 2019, he said that Bono will be the next Zeki. Zeki is one of the greatest goalkeepers in Moroccan history. He was known for his heroics in the 1986, which helped Morocco get to finish top of their group and to reach the round of 16 for the first time. And back then, I was taken aback really because I didn't know Bono that well, and I was a bit surprised by that bold claim.
Yeah.
And after that, obviously, Bono fumbled a ball in that ultimately cost us, ultimately eliminated us from the tournament against the mighty Benin. So that stayed in my mind, and it kind of triggered me for quite a while, and it was hard to shake off until I saw those heroics in the Europa League, and then obviously capitalized that the season after with his clean sheets and heroics for Sevilla, and then obviously the creme de la creme was Morocco. So yeah, Bono has right. I'm happy to say that Bono has righted that wrong for me, and I'm happy to say that Bono is one of the best goalkeepers in African history and probably in the MENA region as well. So Bono gets the nod for me.
Yeah, I think that's sort of a position we can. I think we can agree upon that. I think we can move on to sort of right back now.
So
who's your sort of right back?
I think it's another no-brainer for me, and it's not biased, but it has to be Hakimi for me, Achraf Hakimi.
Yeah, no, I'll go with the same. I think Hakimi gets that spot. I think ability-wise is.
Even recency bias aside, where he obviously scored the winning penalty to take Morocco to the quarterfinals, and obviously his recent performances for PSG, if you like, with the two Ligue 1 back to back.
Yeah,
I mean, he helped Inter Milan, my beloved Inter Milan, win the Scudetto for the first time in 11 years. That's always going to be etched in my memory, so that's always a big plus for me. Yeah. AFCON team of the tournament. So even when Morocco were very poor in that AFCON, he was our star. He was our key player. He scored a beautiful goal actually in what I think it was against Madagascar. I'm not too sure, but it was a beautiful goal. So I remember that fondly. He was in the FIFA Pro World 11 for this year, or for last year technically. Bundesliga, even when he was loaned out from Real Madrid, he performed very well for Dortmund. He was in the team of the year, and obviously he won the Champions League with Real Madrid. Not that he was involved, but he still has that in his locker. So yeah, Hakimi for me is just incredible. He's achieved so much, and he's only I think 24, 25 soon. So the world is his oyster, as they say, and he's versatile as well. He can play. We've seen elements of that in Morocco when they've experimented with him and Dortmund as a left back, left winger, right back, and right winger. So that versatility alongside that explosive pace makes him a really powerful asset, a really valuable asset for Morocco in particular, and for PSG. And if he wins the Champions League, which I do expect them to win it eventually, it just cements his legacy further. So yeah, Hakimi gets the nod for me.
100%. Yeah, no, I think from my sort of perspective, there's sort of Gökhan Gönül and Sabri Sarıoğlu, both in their sort of own respect are very good right backs, but I just think Hakimi's done more and he's reached a higher level, so I have to go with Hakimi.
Yeah.
Can we get onto the centre backs? I think I'll go first with this one. I think my sort of first nomination is Bülent Korkmaz, for Galatasaray. One club man, spent 18 years at Galatasaray, respectively, of 600 appearances, and this was in a very good sort of Galatasaray team. He was part of the team that beat Arsenal for the UEFA Cup, won 8 league titles.
We should just say Arsenal were bottling it back then as well as now.
Yeah. No, yeah, I mean, it reaches back to them, but yeah, elite mentality, absolute warrior. I think that was his nickname. And talk about centre backs that would like die for the shirt. But he was one of them, and yeah, I go Bülent Korkmaz. He goes in for me.
A fellow World Cup semi-finalist as well. Seems to be a running theme here, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I don't know much about him other than obviously the tales of the UEFA Cup and that run in 2002.
Yeah.
But yeah, he seems to be, just looking at him, he's quite an intimidating figure. So
yeah, for those that don't know him, just go and watch that UEFA Cup final between Arsenal and Galatasaray. and I think that will tell you all you need to know about him. He was absolute warrior, and Turkey definitely struggle in the defense. I think we're bereft of talent over the years in midfield and up front. We've especially struggled for centre backs. I just think we don't produce centre backs apart from Bülent Korkmaz. He's sort of a diamond in a pile of rubbish, to be honest. So
Yeah, well, like similarly for Morocco, I have picked Nourdine Naibet, who is arguably Morocco's greatest centre back. For me personally, I prefer Saïs. I've always said I'm a big Saïs guy. I think he's a hero, but I have to take achievements into it and contribution to the overall Moroccan football. Nourdine Naibet for me, he's very accomplished for a Moroccan centre back. Before, we were expanding out to the diaspora. Moroccan born and bred from Casablanca. Won the Champions League for Wydad Casablanca, then gets a big break in abroad, namely in Portugal, where he wins their domestic cup for Sporting. But what he's really well known for is obviously his time at Deportivo La Coruña. I mean, he is one of their all-time great players. He won La Liga for Deportivo La Coruña, edging it ahead of Barcelona and Real Madrid. So it's a massive achievement. Won the Copa del Rey for Deportivo as well, and also got them to runners-up or second-place finishes.
Yeah.
He's in the African, the CAF, or the African Federation's team of the century, and he was at the AFCON 98 team of the tournament. And he's got obviously took Morocco to the run to a silver medal or runners-up at the AFCON 2004, which is still quite sore for me, but it is what it is. And obviously, he racked up 115 appearances for Morocco, which is, I think, the all-time record. So Nourdine Naibet gets it for me. I just want to share a quote from Lionel Scaloni, who is the manager of Argentina that led Argentina to the World Cup in Qatar. He said, "When I was in Deportivo La Coruña, I played with 3 Moroccan players," he added. "I played with Naibet, who for me is among the top 5 defenders I've ever seen in my life. He's an amazing player. And I also know Salahuddin Basir and Mustafa Hadji." It just shows how good he is, really. I mean, for a guy like Scaloni, who played in that 2002 World Cup Argentina All-Star team, and to say that he's one of the best centre-backs he's ever seen, it's a big compliment. It just shows really the quality of Nourdine Naibet. So he definitely gets it for me. So, yeah, very accomplished. So that's Nourdine Naibet gets it for me. But honourable mention, obviously, to Saïs, and eventually, I think, again, will overtake him. We'll see how he does in the next AFCON, let's just say.
I think
left back now, aren't we?
Yeah, there's a lot of Moroccan domination at the moment. I'm just looking at this. I think Morocco are taking the clean sweep, so we'll see how it goes.
Maybe defense might be Morocco, but offensively, I think we're pretty sure where that's going. So
see how it goes.
We should that we're playing with a 4-3-3, so we're playing with the back.
Yes, so we're deciding on a 4-3-3. So left back.
Who comes to your mind? For me, I would say Mazraoui. Nusay Mazraoui. I just think
agreed. It's quite difficult with left backs. I mean, especially Turkey hasn't ever really been blessed with any left backs. Canan Erkin comes to mind, but I don't think he's better than Mazraoui. And that's Hakan Balta. Like, Turkey's never been blessed with left backs at all. So I can't really nominate anyone. I mean, I'm gonna give you Mazraoui. Really.
Yeah, same with Morocco. Even with the fullbacks, I think we struggled as well. We haven't really produced high quality fullbacks until recently. So it's very difficult, and especially with the rules saying it has to be post 2000, it's very difficult to pick one that's not really recent given our achievements. So Mazraoui gets it for me. I think Mazraoui really is just, again, that versatility I mentioned about Hakimi, but even to another level for a guy that played that whole World Cup as a left back and did a decent job, I must say. I think he defended very well. He overlapped and underlapped very well. I think he's a very intelligent fullback, and he's also good in, obviously, from the Ajax school of football. He's very good at build-ups and, passing triangles and playing out from the back. So, Mazraoui is really a good player. I mean, obviously, he hasn't worked out at Bayern yet, although he's won the Bundesliga, but I think he'll come good. I don't know if we have Bayern fans watching him, but he does remind me of Willy Sagnol. So if you know Willy from France back in the day. He does give me that kind of vibe in terms of how dependable he is. Not exciting, not dynamic, but you know what? He'll put it in a shift, and he's a hard worker. And to play
100%.
left back in the World Cup is not an easy thing, especially
No.
when you're used to playing on the right side. So, yeah, Mazraoui gets it for me. I'm not saying Mazraoui. Yeah.
I think it's been quite cordial so far. I think
it's
I
getting
think
very
that stops now that we get into midfield.
this is where
this is where I think the debate is, the big debate.
It's where the miracle of Istanbul comes into play, where we
100%.
dominate the first half, second half, it's all going to be Turkey. Well, we expect it to be, but who knows?
Oh, we'll see what happens. We'll see what we agree upon. In midfield, give me one midfield.
So, are we playing with a flat three? Would you say flat
we'll
three?
We'll have a DM and 2 8s. We'll go with that.
A DM and 2 8s. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Who
So
you going with at DM? Who would you put as? I will say Tugay Kerimoğlu for me.
I agree. I think.
Yeah, he's a
big fan.
100%. Blackburn legend. Galatasaray legend as well. Absolutely brilliant footballer. We both agree on Tugay.
I must say, one of the best strikers of the ball, I must say.
Absolutely brilliant striker, passer.
The volley expert, really. If you want to know how to volley, bro, I think you should just watch Tugay. Just clean as a whistle. Really.
Yeah, 100% absolute baller, and as I said, sort of Blackburn legend. I'll go with the next one.
By default, it has to be Emre, isn't it? It's a partnership.
Emre Belözoğlu has to go in. I mean, absolutely talented footballer. I in my opinion, probably the best Turkish central midfielder we've seen. Sort of came through at Galatasaray, instantly caught the eye. Played for Newcastle, Inter Milan, Atletico Madrid. Again, absolutely brilliant strike of the ball, brilliant pass of the ball. He has the sort of
expert as well.
Exactly, he has a unique achievement of being in both the 2002 and 2008 semi-final teams, the World Cup and Euros. So shows how good he was. He had fight in him.
A bit too much fight at times, a bit too much dog.
Yeah, it was a feisty one, definitely. But for me, he definitely goes in there. I think even in the later years at Fenerbahce and Başakşehir, he was absolutely brilliant. Played in the Başakşehir team that won the title and eventually played in the Champions League. So even later in his years, he showed his quality. So yeah, I think Emre has to go in there.
Yeah, fantastic player. I really admired by the Inter Milan fans for his, although it was a short stint, he was really effective. He was our best player. He was player of the season. Although I think now Nuri has overtaken that, given his achievements and given that he's blown all of my expectations out of the water. So, yeah, but obviously, if you look at it from a Turkey retrospective, I mean, Emre is just leagues above him, unfortunately.
Yeah, no, I think Çalhanoğlu, he's got the quality. But in terms of how can I put it? His Inter Milan performances aren't what he produced for Turkey. Even just in terms of consistency, I think Emre reached a much higher level. I think, Çalhanoğlu, as I said, has the ability to do what Emre does, but doesn't always produce it. He sometimes, he plays within himself a little bit, but which, could that be confidence, pressure, high level? With Emre, you didn't see that. Emre was fighting, tackling. He could do the dirty side and the pretty side of the game, and with his technical ability. And I don't think Çalhanoğlu has that dirty side. I think he's quite very good on the ball. Off the ball, not as good for me.
No.
So yeah, I think Emre goes in there. But I think this last position is where we've had a big disagreement. So I'll let you go first if you want.
Oh, you want me to go first? All right, that's very kind of you. For me, it has to be Ismaël Bennacer or Ismaël Bennacer. For me, by far, he's the best North African midfielder of our generation. I think the way he plays, both on and off the ball, I think he's immaculate. Given his career arc as well, a lot of these you might notice. A lot of these players, Bono and Bennacer and Hakimi, to a certain extent, have had these really difficult starts in their career, and it just peaks in their mid-20s, or late 20s in Bono's case. But Bennacer, for me, obviously was at an Arsenal player. Got only 2 appearances, was released, struggled a bit in France, went to Empoli, picked it up there, learned the passing game there. A build-up player, especially in Italy, the pauser. And then he goes to AC Milan, and I think he's been, alongside Magnon and Leao, absolutely fundamental to AC Milan's title hopes and title win, actually, last season. Fundamental. If you take him out of that midfield, I think that midfield collapses. And as we saw recently in the Champions League following his injury, AC Milan's midfield's not been the same. Won AFCON as the best young player and the best player of the tournament, which has never happened before. And also pivotal to AC Milan's Champions League semi-final win. I think he's, given the game today, I think he's very built. He's very built for today's football. I think it's very modern. The way he presses, the way he screens. He can screen both as a number 10 and a number 6. He can play between the lines as a number 8. I think he's excellent in transition. I think he's one of the best players that in the world, really. I think in his position. I mean, that's a big claim, but I'm a very big fan of him. I think he's so good. And I think he's one of those players I think will be suited to a Liverpool kind of high intensity football. But following his injury, I'm not too sure, which seems to be a lot worse than expected. Yeah, he's not defensively sound. I don't think you're gonna get the best out of him defensively. Off the ball, he's great at reading passing lanes, pressing, etc. He doesn't track back a lot. I think if you beat him or run past him, you're kind of there, and that you've kind of unlocked that midfield. But I think one of his best games ever tactically is against Napoli in that 4-0 win, where he played as a false 10, if you like, or I call it the Fellaini role, where he basically, you're a 10, but you're not really doing anything creative. And he just screened and denied Lobotka any chance, really. He didn't give him a sniff. So I think that intelligence and that tactical awareness, for me, edges it. And for me, it's just a level of maturity I haven't seen in a Maghreb player, if you like, in a long time. You have those generally Moroccan and Algerian players, you pigeonhole them as a creative player or a kind of destructive player. But you have this nuanced player, this spatial kind of oriented player, transition player that plays in moments. And we haven't had that. And I can't think of anyone really. So for me, he gets the nod for me. We'll see how he does following his injury, whether he can sustain those. But that's a big thing for me. As a 26 turning 27-year-old player, let's see how he does, because he's still really in the middle of his peak. So maybe it's too premature to say he should be in the team, but I think given his traits and achievements already, and following the kind of early difficulties, that kind of recovery and resilience for me is really, I think it's just, I'm just in love with the player, and his dad's Moroccan, so I'm going to name him as my own. So I don't care what anyone says.
Well, look, before I talk, look, Bennacer is a good player. I've no qualms against that, but he does not lace the boots of Nuri Şahin or Hamit Altıntop. Pick either one.
You're gonna have to say that again, because you froze. Say that again. I think even the connection doesn't agree with you, bro.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you now.
Okay.
Say it loud and clear so everyone can hear from the back. At the back.
Look, Bennacer is a good player. However, he does not lace the boots of Nuri Şahin or Hamit Altıntop. I think take your pick of which one you want. I'll start with Nuri Şahin first. Came through as a wonder kid, big hype. I think the youngest player to ever play in the Bundesliga until Yusuf Moukoko recently in 2022, I think. 16 years, made his debut at Dortmund. Absolutely brilliant under Klopp. Got player of the year in Germany, the 2010-2011 title win. Primarily plays as a deep line playmaker. Absolutely brilliant technical quality on the ball. Safe, quick-minded, quick feet. Brilliant at dribbling. He even got goals in that season. Absolutely crucial to that Dortmund team under Klopp. Brilliant presser. This is before injuries. Nuri Şahin's pre-injury form. Absolutely brilliant. Really good for Turkey as well. So coming through as a German Turk, You've seen sort of Ozil Gundogan take the easier route of playing for Germany, but even though he came through as a wonder kid in Germany, chose to play for Turkey. Absolutely very, very intelligent and smart player. Unlike sort of Hamit Altıntop, Emre, and Tugay, not as good going forward. However, I'd say probably better in terms of his defensive aspects of the game, with his reading of the game, etc., etc. Look, Bennacer is good, but I think on the ball, Bennacer doesn't come close to Nuri Şahin at all. And that's Nuri Şahin. I'll go to Altıntop. I think Altıntop's my choice. I think he just edges it. I mean, started off at Schalke, Altıntop shooting, passing, dribbling, versatility. Played for Bayern, played for Real Madrid. Absolutely brilliant technical quality. I can just look at his goal in 2010 against Kazakhstan for Turkey. The technique he had, shoot outside the box. I mean, for me, either of those two can go in ahead of Bennacer. I don't personally. I don't think Bennacer is even in that conversation. I think you compare him more with a Çalhanoğlu. He's that level, and I don't think Çalhanoğlu is even in this team.
Ooh.
I think look,
attack there, bro.
Take those three at their peaks. Bennacer's peak, Altıntop's peak, Nuri Şahin's peak, and the levels are, you know, incomparable in my opinion. Like,
well,
about.
Let's put it this way, because the Çalhanoğlu one has really got me, has set me off. Bennacer, unlike both Şahin and Çalhanoğlu, has done both bits for his country and for his club. Hamit Altıntop is the only one that I actually could say, you know what, for now, I could concede that because of his career.
Hamit Altıntop was brilliant, absolutely brilliant for Turkey in 2008.
Career ends. That's the problem. It's a bit premature. So
he was brilliant for Turkey in 2008, Hamit Altıntop.
No, Hamit Altıntop is fine. I'm talking about Şahin and Çalhanoğlu.
Oh yeah, but yeah. I think
you know they're not the same as Bennacer. Hamit Altıntop, as I said, I can concede. Fair enough, it's fair play, and for that reason, I could give that position to Hamit Altıntop, but in italics. We have to revisit this in 5 years' time. But for me personally, and this is where the bias does come in, because obviously you watch more Turkey. You watch Turkey play more, and I watch Morocco predominantly, but also Algeria play as well, especially during AFCON. And I always rely on my scouts, my Algerian friends, for their reports. So yeah, as they go to watch those games, those friendlies. But yeah, generally for me, Bennacer is the untouchable in Algeria. Obviously, the next person I'm going to mention, he was the untouchable, but now he's on a wane. But okay, maybe historically he is the most significant player in Algeria's history. But for now, Bennacer for me is fundamental.
Okay. No, we're not
both AC Milan and Algeria's future.
Yeah, that's cool. We're not going to come to agreement on that one, so we're going to leave that position up to you guys. We'll put a poll up on Twitter and Instagram, and also please leave in the comments what you think. So if we talked about,
be honest as well. I don't want bias into this.
Give your opinions. Whatever you guys pick, we'll put in. So it's between Nuri Şahin, Hamit Altıntop, and Ismaël Bennacer for that third midfield spot. Cool. We'll move on from that one. It's gone to right wing. I think there's only.
This is the most obvious selection for me by a country mile, and this is where all the Algerians are going to get happy, and City fans as well. It's Riyad Mahrez by far, by a country mile. He is the most iconic player in both the Maghreb regions, in the both Maghreb region, since another Algerian great, Rabah Madjer. For me, what he's done, Leicester alone is a big achievement, but then to go to City and still become quite, he's a bit player now, but to be heavily involved in City's fortunes and success is a big thing. I mean, Player of the Year, obviously, at Leicester City, PFA's Player of the Year, PFA Team of the Year, won everything in City, including both the continental and domestic treble, won AFCON, and I say won AFCON very, very, with a lot of emphasis, because obviously he scored the most iconic goal in AFCON history, which is the last-minute free kick against Nigeria to take Algeria to the final, and then obviously win it for the first time since 1990. That moment in itself will go down in history, both in Riyad Mahrez's career and in African football history. It's just, Also, we can't forget his wonderful first touch. I think that's something that people forget about and overlook a bit now when they think about Riyad Mahrez. Probably one of the best first touches I've ever seen in African football, which is a big claim. I mean,
baller, man.
That goal against Zimbabwe in the qualifiers, I urge everyone to watch it. It's one of the best goals I've ever seen in African football. It's just, I can't describe it. I won't be able to give it any justice. Just a techie player. For me, he's just exceptional player. I have to be honest. There's nobody that will come close to him. I mean, a side debate as you're a Liverpool fan, and this has been something that has been on the run. It's been here and there on Twitter. Him or Salah, who would you take? Both as a player, also as the career as well.
Let me throw a curveball though.
Yeah.
Quickly. Hassan Shash.
This is a sentimental one, you see. That's Hakan Shash is, for me, I said it many times, the best player in the 2002 World Cup, generally speaking. I think, well, Ronaldo aside on that, but I'm talking about other than Brazil. Incredible player for me. My goodness me. What he did in the UEFA Cup was incredible. His style of play, I mean, he wasn't just a winger that crossed the ball, but he was just full of pace and power, and he was always there, it was just hassling opposition fullbacks. He was such an incredible player. But just given the achievements of Riyad Mahrez, I just have to give it to Riyad Mahrez.
No, I'll go with Riyad Mahrez as well. I think what he done with Leicester, sort of the trust Pep puts in him, especially in the intense periods of the Premier League calendar, where he plays Mahrez week in, week out due to lack of injury. But shout out to Hassan Shash, only man I've seen wear a chain and bad it up against Brazil, 2002 Brazil. That's a Brazil team with R9 on the pitch and all sorts of man, and he batted that game up. So shout out to him. Absolutely brilliant player. One of Turkey's best wingers ever.
They always say about certain players, he's an 8 out of 10. He'll never go. Sometimes he can be a 9, or sometimes he can be a 7. But overall, on average, he's an 8 out of 10 player. For me, that is Hassan Shash by far. He just doesn't have. I've never seen him have a stinker. To be fair, I mean, I haven't watched hundreds and thousands of games, but when I watch Turkey play and when I watch Galatasaray play here and there, he's always by far the best player. He's an incredible player. I mean, if it wasn't for Mahrez, to be fair, let me put it like this: if it was just Morocco and Turkey, Shash will get there by far. He was ahead of Ziyech. He's ahead of all Hadji, all of them by far. I'll be honest. But because we're included in Algeria, and hence this is the Maghreb versus Turkey draft starting 11, Mahrez edges it for me. But have to give.
I agree. Mahrez has to go in. It's gone to left wing. Any shouts for left wing? I think I'll go first to this one. I'm going with Arda Turan.
For me, it's Hadji, but it's between two time periods. So it's pre-2010, 2000, which was the 98 World Cup, where he took Morocco, even though we didn't do very well. It's a very special moment for me. People know that year is when my dad recorded VHS of Moroccan play, and then I watched it in 2001, and I became a football fan. So Hadji is a big part of me being a football fan and loving the game, etc. And I wrote about it a couple of years ago for International Morocco. He's an incredible player. He's a hero. Took us to the AFCON final. Very fundamental, probably our best player between 1998 and 2004. Very special player, and what he did at Coventry as well is also a thing of legend. I urge you guys to read about what he did at Coventry. But by far, Arda Turan for me, very accomplished. I mean, you can't rival the two. I mean, Hadji's a techie player. I have to be honest. He's one of the most techie Moroccan players I've seen. We talk about Bouffal and that stuff. Above them all. By far. But I think Arda Turan, given what he's achieved and peak Arda Turan, I still think it's Atletico Madrid. I think he just...
Look, Arda Turan, absolutely brilliant player. Came for Galatasaray.
Was the outball really for Atletico's?
Yeah, absolutely crucial in that Simeone team, playing off the left.
Yeah,
brilliant technically, sort of not a winger, more of an attacking midfielder out on the left. Brilliant technical ability, a hard worker as well. As I said, he's a fighter on the pitch and off the pitch. Loose cannon. You
thought Emre was waiting to meet Arda Turan.
The guy's a madman. The guy's an absolute crazy guy, but that fed into his absolute brilliant sort of Atletico Madrid. He was in Spain from about 2011 to 2017. In Atletico's title-winning season and the season that they got to the Champions League final, he was player of the year for them. So in Atletico's best season, he was their best player.
Yeah.
sort of signed for Barcelona at a time where sort of they had they couldn't make any transfers, so he had a 6-month ban.
Yeah.
Just because he wasn't allowed to play for Barcelona due to their transfer ban. And he sort of gained weight, lost fitness, and he never really was the same. Although even in that season, he was quite good, but he was never really the same after that. He sort of, I think with a player like Altıntop, he needs that fitness, that discipline, and 6 months off the pitch is a long time. And I think that's what kind of ruined his career. I think some controversy. I think he had quite he bowed out of his Turkey career quite negatively as well. Sort of when we were 3-0 down to Iceland, sort of smiling when he was coming off the pitch, and that was a big controversy in Turkey, and fighting reporters and things like that. But at his peak at Atletico Madrid, nobody out of Algerian, Moroccan, or other Turk comes close to Alturan. An absolutely brilliant footballer. I watched him run the game so many times from left mid, sort of drifting in. Even in 2008, when I was a young kid, sort of scoring last minute in the group stage against Switzerland when we had to win, scoring in the 90-plus minute. Sort of one of the icons of the sort of comeback kings in that tournament. Getting the first goal back against Czech Republic, the game we eventually won 3-2. He was the sort of talisman there, and he's still a kid there. So Alturan has to go in on the left for me, definitely.
Yeah.
And now let's come to the focal point of the team, the striker. For me, I'll go first on this one. I'm going to actually put in. I'm going to be a bit controversial. Listen, there's been some brilliant strikers over all three nations. I mean, for Maghreb and Nasiri, I think Turkey really is quite stacked with strikers over the years. Tuncay, Nihat, Hakan, Şükür. But controversially,
Slimani as well, I have to say, especially for Algeria.
Slimani had some brilliant stints. But I am going with Burak Yılmaz as the striker for me. Look, absolutely, just your like typical number 9, brilliant in the air, gets in behind, absolutely clinical finisher, can hold the ball up. Like, people sleep on Burak Yılmaz because in the 2012-2013 Galatasaray team, there were bigger names like your Drugbas, your Schneiders, your Felipe Melos, your Musleras. But Burak Yılmaz in that year, I believe, scored the most goals in the group stage, outscoring Cristiano Ronaldo, outscoring Lionel Messi. Was absolutely crucial for Galatasaray in those title wins as well. I think what happened is, after that Champions League campaign, he chose to move to China for the money over going to Europe. I think if he broke into Europe at that time, he would have been a class striker. I think he had everything you want from a number 9, everything. And I think Europe saw that finally when he joined Europe after some sort of average stints at Trabzonspor and Beşiktaş. When he joined Lille, he was a talisman for that Lille title-winning side with 25 plus goals. The main player at the age of 36, I think you saw his technical ability shine through. Yeah. Absolutely brilliant striker for me, and it's just a shame for me that Europe couldn't see that more when he was younger, because he's such a good striker. I mean, as kind of happens with most, didn't bow out a bit, unfortunately, with his penalty missing against Portugal in the qualifiers for the World Cup. But for me, Burak Yılmaz is actually Turkish and Galatasaray legend and Lille legend. Baller.
Yeah.
What about you? What do you think?
For me, obviously, Nasiri will always have a special place in my heart, and that goal he scored against Portugal is probably one of my favorite goals scored by, someone who's of North African origin. In my lifetime, I must say, given the type of goal, obviously, to manage to leap over both Ruben Diaz and Diogo Costa is still, for me, baffling. It's like a halal version or a legal version of the Maradona hand of So I'm just saying, maybe I'm gassing, but I have to say that. And obviously his Europa League wins, and yeah, he's just incredible. For me, his career is very storied in terms of achievements, but and certain moments. But for me, overall, his game is not at that level to be an all-time great. I think, I talked about it in the last episode about Lautaro Martinez. He's just not someone who can lead the line. He's very patchy. There are certain problems with Bennacer, and I would like to see him in the Premier League, especially West Ham. He does seem like a player for West Ham. I would like to see how he does. But for me, when you look at the history, obviously Yilmaz and the achievements that he's done, and actually Yilmaz, it worked against him because he constrained himself by going to China and denying opportunities.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, stupid decision.
Whereas Bennacer did the opposite, not really a technically gifted player and probably achieved more than he should have, really, I'll be honest. So he made the most of that. But for me, I have to be honest. I have to go for someone, but it's a not PC one, and I don't want to get into trouble because I know this is a sensitive one. But for me, I know there's a moment of erasing history and revisionism. That's fair enough. I think it's deserved in this case. But, I'm just going to say it like this. The cab driver in America, for me, is the best number 9 for me. I'm sorry. What he did in the UEFA Cup, without him, let's be honest. Hadji, I would say was important, but he got sent off, and he got sent off in that final as well, actually, by the way. He's the most important guy, and the World Cup, the goals came from him, really. Most.
It was Hadji, man. I 100%. I get what you're saying.
I said for the final, he was the important one.
Yeah, for the final, 100%.
And the World Cup, he was really one of the most important players. I would say, if not the most important player. Shash was better, but obviously the goals and him taking those opportunities. He was an opportunist, and
fastest hat trick in World Cup history as well.
And obviously, so he has to be in it for me. Obviously,
100%.
he just has to, and obviously he went to Inter Milan. It didn't work out, but he's an Inter Milan alumni. For me, just that achievement in the World Cup, and his goal scoring record, actually in general for Galatasaray and Turkey, is actually very, very good. It's like it's crazy numbers. If you put into, back then it's even more crazy than now because everyone seems to be getting like a goal a game or whatever, or a goal every 1.5 games or whatever. But his stats are incredible. Like if you look at it, it's absolutely incredible. It's a thing of beauty. And look, he wasn't technically gifted or whatever, but you know what? If you want someone, if you could come back to Turkey and take Lukaku's place for those 2 opportunities, there'll be 2 goals. Really, that's how it is. Really, that's who he is. He is just the excellence, the finishing is par excellence, the instinct. He's so dependable, reliable, and unfortunately, obviously, it's a shame what happened politically, but I can't forget what he's done. And when you put him into the equation, I do think it is bigger than Yilmaz, and I think it is bigger than Bennacer. I just personally, you can't change my opinion. It's just the peaks of the peaks, really. I mean, World Cup semi-final and the UEFA Cup. I mean, it doesn't get better, and the Super Cup as well. It doesn't get better than that. I mean, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
he did what Bennacer did, both World Cup and the Europa League or UEFA Cup, and he did what Yilmaz couldn't really. So
I think it's difficult. But obviously, Şükür played in a much better Turkey team than Burak Yılmaz. I will say that. I mean, I'll just read out some of the stats from Burak Yılmaz's seasons in the Super League. And granted, it is Turkey, so it does come with a caveat. But sort of 24 and 30, 16 and 32, 16 and 28. Then he went to China, came back to Trabzonspor in 2018, 23 and 25. Went to Lille, 16 and 28 on his Lille team. I think, listen, brilliant player for me. I mean, even for Turkey, he's done very well for Turkey. I mean, I remember Holland hat tricks. I even remember that was it the 5-3 or the 4-2 against Holland? Recently in last year's World Cup qualifiers, he scored
4-2, no?
Yeah, 4-2, where he scored a hat trick, sort of free kick, brilliant finish. And I mean, for me, maybe I haven't watched Hakan Şükür enough, and I do get it, but
I mean,
Burak, he did amaze me at times, and not a lot of Turkish players did. He did amaze me with some of his ability, and for me, I'm going to go with Burak Yılmaz, but obviously,
I'll give it to you. It's going to be a Turkish striker, so you can have the final say because I don't think those 2 are both better in this series. I'll be honest. Yılmaz had to adapt his game, and obviously he had to overcompensate a lot for that Turkish side. I agree. What he did at Lille was incredible. Again, against the PSG, I mean, it's just ridiculous. The only team to have done that is Montpellier, and that was Giroud. leading the line back then. So no, he is a significant player. Again, an underrated player who did disservice to himself, really, to his own career. I'll be honest with you, and that's why people find it a bit hard. I would look at this with a bit of incredulity. I was like, oh, what, really? But Hakan Şükür, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, most decorated Turkish player, I believe. If I'm right, 14 titles.
I'll have to go and have a look at that one. I'm not.
14 titles, I'm not sure. 14 titles in such a short space of time, by the way, from 94 to 2004. So, but yeah, still Turkey's record goal scorer. Yeah, I think almost 400 goals, both league and in internationals altogether. That's still a lot.
Yeah,
that's cool. I mean, that's Shearer-esque, really. I'll be honest with you, and slightly more. But yeah, cool. That's for me. That's how it goes. But if you can have the final say, or we could just leave it. This one for the Turkish brothers can actually debate this even more because they're better informed.
Yeah, maybe that is the case. So we'll wrap that one up. We'll just go for the team really quickly. In goal, we've gone with Bono.
Yep.
Right back, we've gone Hakimi. Centre back, we've gone with Bülent Korkmaz and
Nuri Neighbor.
Left back, Mazraoui. At CDM, we've gone with Tugay. At left centre mid, we've gone with Emre Belözoğlu. At right centre mid, that one's up for debate. That's for you guys to pick in Nuri, Şahin, Hamit, Altıntop, and Bennacer.
Yeah.
At right wing, we've gone with Riyad Mahrez. Left wing, we've gone with Arda Turan. And up front, it's between Burak, Yılmaz, and Hakan Şükür. So what is that? That's 4 Moroccans.
2 Algerians. God, this is
Algerians.
Not going to go down very well. To be
5
fair.
Turkish players.
Yeah.
So we'll listen. We love all of you, but we're being honest with our football opinions, so no one get offended. I know everyone has their favourites.
Post-2000 makes it difficult for a lot of especially Algeria. Maghreb would be there by far. Lumi would be there by far. So I'm going to be honest with you. Those two would boss that midfield. I think they would boss that Tugay and, my opinion, an Emre midfield. But these are the rules. These are the constraints. We have to watch them play. As
I said, I could go Sergen Yalçın and play, but I haven't watched Sergen Yalçın play, so it's unfair for me to give to be so staunch on having him in when I haven't watched him play. I mean, with romanticism, you have to be careful because it's only the good things you remember.
Algerians, obviously, good Euros, another player. I mean, obviously, you can look at his Premier League days slightly different, but for Algeria, he was very immense. But again, Tugay and Emre, you can't really beat that axis. I'm sorry, man. Even I don't think not even Amrabat or Nahi would get close to them. I'm just sorry. It's those two.
Yeah. So look, leave your team in the comments. Who's your sort of combined 11 between Algeria, Morocco, and Turkey? Is it different from ours? Are we chatting rubbish? Have we totally missed out on someone? Just let us know in the comments. I mean, we'd love to see your teams as well. And yeah, please like and subscribe for us.
And we will revisit this because I know certain Bennacer, and also we don't know. These are all relatively recency bias. So we pick players based on how they've done until now.
Exactly. Look, it's just a little bit of fun.
Spain is another one who should be there. I know, but I just had to pick Mazraoui. So.
Yeah, no, we're not saying our opinion. It's just our opinions. We're not saying it's written in sort of stone. Obviously, everyone.
Next time we'll bring an Algerian on to make it fair as well. Maybe I shouldn't be representing the whole region. It's a bit rich for me. So especially I'm heavily biased. So it is what it is. But you know what? At least the two Algerian players that you place are probably the best North African players, I think, especially Riyad Mahrez in terms of how decorated he is, and Bennacer in terms of the midfielder he is. I mean, we don't have a midfielder like that. So
look, if you have any angry opinions, please DM Zach directly.
Take it out on me. Come on, let's have some.
He's happy to DM Zach with all your hates and your any Algerians that offended.
Oh yeah, and they all know where I live, which is
any
if you want to smoke me, feel free to smoke me. That's fine, man.
Zach's DMs are open. No, I'm only joking. No.
As I said, no sisters, obviously. And I don't know about sisters really watching this or knowing about ball, but if there are any sisters that have a strong opinion, just at the Tactical Podcast. Don't at me, please. Thank you.
Yeah, no, look, I think we'll end this one here. We'll sort of put the team out on Twitter and we'll see what on Instagram. We'll see what you guys think. Anyway, guys, please like and subscribe. Show us some love, please. Starting up, trying to get somewhere with this. So,
and if I do make it for the next episode, great. If not, then 5 episodes in, 5 times, as Booker T would say, it's good enough, man. It's fun while it's been fun whilst it's lasted. So thank you.
Yeah. No.
Take care, guys.
Take care. Bye bye.